What up? It's Jimmy. This is a clip from our big NFL Conference Finals show starring Bebsy, Dutch Boy Fresh, and Nolly Knows. If you want to check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. NFC Championship up first, 3:05 p.m. Eastern. A giant Sunday awaits. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 13-5 now on the season, 8-2 on the road at the Green Bay Packers 14-3, 8-1 at home. We're at Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 28 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour, and no snow in the forecast at this point. Green Bay, depending on where you shop, opened at 3.5, about minus 109. The books have been flipping back and forth to 3s and 3.5s. For instance, at Bet365, you can get Green Bay -3 at minus 125. You can get them minus 3.5 at minus 115. It's strange that that's such a crucial half point, only 10 cents. And you can get them at -4 at minus 110, which I find all quite strange. I mean, the difference between 3 and 4 is so massive. And for that only to cost 15 cents is relatively cheap. This total opened up at 51. It's now at 51.5 at some books. They haven't all gone to 51. Let's start by talking about the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay seeking to become the first team in league history to advance to a Super Bowl that we played in its home stadium. I know it's a little different without the fans there, but still, comfort. Buccaneers coming off their 6th straight win, 30-20 at New Orleans in the divisional round. Brady didn't make mistakes, didn't have to force it. 18 of 33, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 18 completions, 9 different receivers. Nobody was targeted more than 7 times. Cameron Brate led the receivers with 4 catches for 50 yards. Leonard Fournette next with 5 catches for 44 yards. The surprising stat was Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Mike Evans were held to a combined 6 catches for 47 yards. Strange. They forced 4 turnovers. Those takeaways set up Brady for touchdown drives of 3 yards, 20 yards, and 40 yards. 2019 5th overall pick, Devin White was all over the field, 11 tackles, scooped up a fumble, had an interception. He was a monster. But they did not register a sack. Got just 3 hits on the quarterback, 2 by Steve McClendon, 1 by William Golston. They led the NFL rushing defense for the 2nd straight year, but they're vulnerable against the pass, and we know that's how the Packers can attack them and will attack them. And the big injury news, and we'll go over the injury report. Maybe I'll go over the injury report once we've had everybody come in and say a little bit. But the big injury news was Vita Vea, taken off injured reserve, returned to practice, and word is that he looks good out there, and he's right at his regular playing weight. We'll start with Rob Bebenek. We'll go around the horn to Nolly and then to Dutch Boy Fresh. What are your expectations of these Buccaneers, and do you have any interest in betting them at any level?
I mean, it's a championship game, so it's pretty tough to bet against Tom Brady in this situation. The biggest question mark is how are the rest of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to play in cold weather? We know Brady's going to be fine with it. We know Gronkowski's going to be fine with it. But what about the rest of this team? I'm not entirely sure. Also, if you look at the matchup against the Saints, that defense balled out. Part of it had to do with the fact that, look, Breeze is done. We said it at the start of the year. He looked bad in that game. He got picked off 3 times. The starting field position for the Bucs was incredible all night long, and they really didn't put out a dominating performance. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to make the same mistakes. So I really think it's a tough spot for these Bucs. I think it's going to – if they can pull this out, I think it's going to be all Tom.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they need Tom to really air it out. I'm very curious to see how the receivers and everybody other than Tom will handle the 28 Fahrenheit weather, like you mentioned, Bebsy. All right, let's head down to Nolly Knows. Nolly, you've made unders great again. I know you focus on unders, but is there anything, including unders, that appeals to you with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer squad?
Well, I mean, you mentioned it a lot with Tom Brady. You know, it's hard to go against that guy in the playoffs. He's proven it time and time again. You know, game on the line, he can come back and get that touchdown that you need to win the game. And that's the one scary thing. But I think they're lucky to be here. You know, they struggled against a Washington team that I felt had no business being in that game with them. And then last week, you know, I felt that the Saints kind of gave it away. You know, you mentioned the struggles that Brees has had. Can't throw the ball past 10 yards, you're going to struggle. You know, Jameis Winston had to come in and throw that bomb for them. And yeah, I think this is a very tough spot going on the road. You know, this is a team that with the Green Bay Packers, we'll get to them in a minute, but at home, they're tough to beat, you know, and that's a tough ask for this Tampa Bay team. And but as totals wise, you know, as good as their defense has been, you know, I still expect Green Bay to be able to do their thing. So I still see some points here.
Interesting. Still seeing points there. And Nolly, if we could even move the mic even closer to closer would be great. But it's we're in the right direction, moving in the right direction with volume there, my man. Dutch boy Fresh, tell me about your feelings on this Buccaneer squad, and are you interested in them? But first, right before that, let's give a big shout out to Big Ragu 62 in our chat. He's battling COVID. And I believe we're in about day 7 right now. And you know he'd be with us if he could live, but he's still here in the chat. So if everybody could take a second and just send all the most positive healing energy to our man Big Ragu and his beautiful wife Kelly, and give them as much love as possible. Send it right through to him right now, because we just want him better as soon as possible. So big shout out to Big Ragu. Dutch boy Fresh, I know you'll probably first want to give a shout out to Ragu, but after that, talk to us about the Bucs.
Yeah, Jimmy. Well said, my man. I second that. You know, speedy recovery to my man Doc. You know, stay healthy, you and the fam. You know, I know he's out there close to the to Tampa too as well. So hopefully he'll be good and healthy, ready to rock and roll by Super Bowl time and can enjoy that. Now, when it comes to the Buccaneers, Jim, I got to be real. I took it on the chin last week. I think Drew Brees, Bevsy and Nolly both, said it well. Drew Brees pretty much gave up that game. Tampa didn't do anything to overwhelm me, but they do have Tom Brady. I'm glad to hear Nolly say that he's looking at points, because that's where I'm at when it comes to this game. I'm looking at props and the over in this game. And from the Buccaneers aspect, the last 6 weeks, they scored 5 points per each time they're in the red zone. So when they get in the red zone, they're scoring mostly touchdowns. That's second best in the NFL, and they only allow 70% pressure on the quarterback every pass attempt in the last 6 weeks, which is third best in the NFL. So that does make me think that Brady's going to be able to get his numbers. Like Bevsy did say, it's pretty much going to be all on Tom, and I do expect Tom, with all the weapon he has, to at least put up some points and some numbers.
See, I still am. If I was going to go for a total, I might be more comfortable just focusing on the team that I know. Well, I shouldn't say that I know, that I expect to score, and that's the Packers. And if we go to a team total for either team right now, you can get 23.5 for the Bucs, which is not a big number. 27.5 for the Packers. So if the Packers get an early lead, we know that they'll run the ball with their 3 running backs, and they'll bleed the clock to keep the playmakers off the field. So if that's the case, then why don't we focus on just the Packers' first half team total? And let me see, that is sitting at 13.5. 13.5. The Buccaneers' first half team total is at 10.5 at plus 100. So I hear what you guys are saying about the totals, but I think that I might just focus solely on the Packers for this over, because I'm afraid to take the full game over. Just to finish off on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with their injury report here, there's a bunch of players on either team that are limited at practice that are expected to play. So we shouldn't be too concerned. They're on the injury report, but Ronald Jones, quad finger, Chris Godwin, quad, Mike Evans, knee, Antonio Brown, knee. We expect them all to play. Jordan Whitehead, Sean Murphy, Bunting, Jason Pierre-Paul, all still on that list. We expect them to play. There's not much going on for the Buccaneers other than Vita Vea is back in action.